Up next is this very important case I've been actually working very diligently on for a long time. It's a case that happened, interestingly enough, in Kenton, Kentucky, unfortunately. It's the case of the serial killer of Kentucky, known as, well, I almost forget his name right now. More right here on JTC channel. Up next. So, as you know, here on the JTC channel, we tend to do things very differently. And this is a very important case for me that I've been keeping up to date on. This is a Kentucky murderer who was allegedly turning into a serial killer. And it talks about it here in Kenton County, Kentucky. It says the suspect was accused of killing a former assistant Commonwealth attorney in a violent home invasion, apparently in February, and is now connected to a 2020 burglary and home invasion of several government buildings. Shannon Gilday, age 23, is currently in the Central Kentucky prison facing murder charges for the death of Jordan Morgan, the former assistant Commonwealth attorney, the court shows. Gilday killed Jordan after breaking into the mansion owned by her father, and former Kentucky Representative Wesley Morgan. Kenton County Commonwealth Attorney Rob Sanders says investigators suspect that Gilday may have wanted access to the family's bunker rooms. On January 26th of 2020, Gilday broke into the Kenton County Circuit Court Clerk's and Driver's License Division. Gilday told detectives he used a cordless driver to get into the government building unannounced. No one knew he was in the building until the next day when the staff saw certain items were missing and also strewn about. As part of the official break-in, the burglar disabled the locking mechanisms for the actual doors and security system. So they did it so that the doors, could just be vice gripped open. They could use like almost a small tab of a screwdriver to just pry each of the doors wide open. And this is very interesting that this has been going on for quite some time, apparently in Kentucky. And I won't be covering this for very long. This is a real short video, but I'm encouraging people to get this out, get it out to the general public as well, especially for this, because nearly no one has heard of these homicides that took place in Kentucky State. And I've been asked before, whether I have like a real dream or something like that. No, I've honestly never truly had like a real consistent dream. I mean, I'd like to travel, I'd like to get certain destinations off the list, that sort of thing. But I think ultimately what my biggest dream has always been is to be involved in person when all the serial killers, like all of them, literally, for the most part, that are in this global group, so to speak, is to be there on that day when all of these serial killers are dropped, down under, so to speak. I mean, that's kind of literally always been the consistent dream. It's in the back of my head, was to see most of the world's serial killers and everyone that I've encountered that's a serial killer, especially like these that are here, be dropped down under and get their just desserts. So, and I'm not clear on why, I've always envisioned that, but I have foreseen it before, for sure. And I think that there's a lot that we can learn from certain cases like this that were very, very common in Kentucky, because they used almost like a crowbar type thing to pry the door wide open. So you can't do that on a normal door. They had a door where, it's kind of almost contactless. And so they pried it open. And they used it to go down in the bunker and actually steal all the supplies. And interestingly enough, then the Madison County judge set their bond at $2 million. So within the past 4 to 5 weeks or so, these people have officially been sentenced. Probably to life in prison. Just a couple more things here. Thank you. The suspect in the Kentucky mansion murders has confessed to the unsolved crime, says the official High Deputy Jailer of the Commonwealth. Mr. Shannon Gilday, age 23, is currently in the Central Kentucky prison. Kenton County Commonwealth Attorney Rob Sanders states investigators suspect Gilday wished to have access to the family doomsday bunker, allegedly. They disabled the security system. While he was inside the office, Gilday stole $13,000 worth of equipment and supplies used for driver's license and other passports. When the items were actually recovered, documents state that they were damaged beyond repair, had major holes and blemishes, but one piece of evidence remained: the personal military records for Shannon Vincent Gilday himself. Gilday had served in the Army beginning in August of 2018, was not deployed, according to the U.S. Army. He held the rank of private when he had been dishonorably discharged around October of 2019. According to the court records, Gilday's family was suspected and believed to be involved in the 2020 burglary, although they could not prove it at the time. They contacted investigators who began to look into everything about the case. Investigators sent the DNA from stolen equipment at the dump site over to Quantico, Virginia to test it. The DNA results were pending when Gilday was arrested on February 28th of 2022 for the murder of Jordan Morgan, according to court records. Gilday confessed to the 2020 Kenton County Circuit Court Clerk's Driver's License Office burglary while the Kentucky police interviewed. He also admitted to dumping the stolen material at a rural site off the farmland in the middle of kind of the bayou area. Gilday told them he intended to use stolen equipment to make fake IDs to obtain Bitcoin and other illegal currencies. He is now facing burglary and grand theft by unlawful taking charges into Kenton County. The warrant application claims Gilday researched Kentucky homes that had doomsday bunkers attached to them. The home has a 2,000 square foot shelter built 26 feet underneath. The bunker was built to withstand a seismic 12-foot seismic 12 earthquake. Had 2 escape tunnels as well. Shannon Gilday continued the research of the home even when it was for sale until he could case it to see if it could be taken over. It is unclear when Gilday will appear next. So quite a story. Thank you for continuing to truly get the word out, especially here. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. This was the exact area where Gilday was at. Mr. Shannon Gilday was here doing some deliberate, armed assaults and armed robberies and invasions right here near the Taylor Mill Department of Records, the Department of Police, and so on. They were committing a lot of robberies. And so this is close to the area where he actually engaged in the homicide, the murder. And allegedly what they've said about that is that Mr. Shannon Gilday literally came out of nowhere, and he grabbed a hold of the victim and just stabbed them repeatedly. I think they had mentioned the fact that the victim may have been stabbed, upwards of 10 10 times or so. I mean, this was definitely a horrific altercation. Because once Gilday was finished, he then, went into the bunker. They had to gain access to the bunker that was on the property, so they pried the door directly off. They kind of pried the hinges out, and then Gilday got access to the downstairs bunker right here in this area of Taylor Mill, and they stole all of the supplies, and they also stole, of course, the flashlights and similar things from out of there. So it was a very interesting case, and there's another accomplice that is right now still being looked at too. But anyway, I just appreciate you guys getting this out there far and wide. There's the unmarked cars there as well, and having other people really take a look at the Gilday case, because very few truly know about what's occurred in Kentucky recently. And the Gilday case is one of the major things that's gone on there as of late. Thank you again. Always right here, the JTC channel.